Rob Star Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button as you're coming in. I would greatly appreciate it. Of course, every live stream is a live goal of 50 or more 100 or more likes. So do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. Appreciate everyone being in here. So we've got a guy coming in here. His name is Zim. Z-I-M. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly um from Roundtable Sports, who is the Cincinnati content creator. So Zim Wentz, or they call him Wency or Wency Houday. That's that's their saying, obviously there in Cincinnati. So he's gonna come and join in on the stream here shortly. We're gonna break this game down. And of course, once he joins. So I appreciate his time and for him to come in and us to break this game down together. So it's Roundtable Sports is a wonderful thing because it's brought a lot of us obviously together. A lot of the content creators together. A lot of big content creators have come together over there and for a bunch of different teams. So Kevin's coming in saying, "Hey Clay, predict 28-13 Panthers." Wow, that's a bold prediction there, Kevin. That is a bold prediction. Yeah, so we're just gonna as we are preparing for tonight, or as we're waiting for Zim to come in, we'll chat amongst ourselves right now. I do want to talk about the tonight's game, ladies and gentlemen. We got that Giants game tonight. I mean, that's gonna be I just think the Dallas is just gonna win this game. It's just not even gonna be close. It's not even gonna be close, ladies and gentlemen. So Cowboys aren't gonna let any of this. So it's gonna be interesting. There he is. There's the man. There's the myth. There's the legend himself. Okay. Okay. I got you. He's in the background, ladies and gentlemen. He's hopping out. Give him a second, ladies and gentlemen. He is coming. He is coming. It's all good. So they obviously also, guys, do me a favor. Go over to Cincinnati. That is their channel. So go over there, make sure you like and subscribe. Okay. Make sure you like and subscribe. Wait 1 second. My mic is acting crazy. Let me restart my computer. All right. So his mic's acting up. So we're just waiting for Zim to get in here. StreamYard has been affecting a lot of us content creators when it comes to this. So it happens every single time. StreamYard's been very funky lately for us. If anybody knows what StreamYard is, a lot of content creators use that for their live streams. So it's just been it's a funky mess, man. It's a funky mess. It's gonna get messy. This game's gonna get messy. I think it's gonna be interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a game that is a revenge game number one for Andy Dalton. And it's one of these games I feel like could spiral into a dumpster fire fast for the Carolina Panthers, especially defensively, if they don't show up like they did against the Raiders. And obviously we're going to dive more into that. And trust me, I think that the Raiders game, and trust me, that Raiders game, we'll see if it was a fluke or not. We'll see if if it was a fluke or not, ladies and gentlemen. You think a solid performance against a train wreck team means everything's fixed? We got to think again, right? The only thing we can do at this point is continue the momentum, right? Going into, obviously, we got to hope that we continue that momentum going into next week, right? So we'll see. But we're gonna continue talking here while we wait for Wincy. Or once we get, I don't even know what to call him Zim. We'll just call him Zim. But the Bengals right now, ladies and gentlemen, they might be 0-3, but I'm telling you right now, it's not. This is a team that's desperate, right? They are hungry. They're desperate. Um, they might look like a joke on defense, but their offense is a different story. Especially, they're a pissed off offense. They're an 0-3 team right now. That's got to be pissed off. These guys are desperate, and an 0-4 and then an 0-4 record would basically bury them in the AFC North with the Steelers winning that are winning games. The Ravens, despite being 1-2, they could end up turning things around. And you got the Bengals who are going to be coming out swinging if the Panthers defense can't hang. So this could get ugly real fast for us. You know what I mean? This is a game that could get ugly for us real fast. And it's not, and I'm not saying that we can't win this game. It's not a game that, we can't win. They got a lot of injuries, and so do we. They've got a lot of injuries too that they're dealing with on the offensive side of the ball. So let me see where. Let me see something here. Just making sure we're good. So we're waiting for Zim to come in, the Cincinnati Bengals content creator of the of the Cincinnati podcast. So make sure that y'all go and like and subscribe over there. Okay, make sure y'all go do that. It's the link is in. I think I posted a link, or you can click that on my channel. You can click the right there. Yeah, you can click the and it'll take it right to it. Like, see where it says @Cincinnati? It'll take you right to it. So, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. We got 16 votes on the poll. Okay. We only have 10 likes. So let's go ahead and make sure we smash that like button. That's all I ask. We try to get this live stream to 100 likes. We're just waiting for Zim to come back and get in. We're just chatting amongst ourselves. Here's the thing. Here's a question for you guys though. Could Andy Dalton's Cinderella story continue while we're waiting for Zim? Because let's not sugarcoat this. Andy Dalton rolled up to Carolina like an old gunslinger who's still obviously he's got something left in the chamber. And yeah, I'll say this. It's and after Bryce Young got benched, let's face it, he just wasn't cutting it. And Dalton came in looking like he didn't miss a beat, especially against a piss poor Las Vegas defense. All right. Dalton gave us a damn clinic, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. A whole lot of fans were wondering why the hell he wasn't starting in the first place. Right. But I want to pump the brakes a bit because the Raiders had no film on Dalton. Okay. So Carolina caught them with their pants down. The real test is going to be when teams know what's coming, right? Next up, you got the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that originally drafted Dalton, where he spent 9 years. And here's the thing, you think Dalton doesn't have something extra for them? Like, you better believe it. So with that chip on his shoulder, I mean, there could be some definitely some bold predictions here going into this game. I've seen a lot of bold predictions that Andy Dalton's going to be a turnover free. I've seen a lot of bold predictions where Xavier Legatte's going to break out for over 100 yards. Dalton's going to hit 65% of his completions. Dalton throws for another 300 plus yard game. Dalton leads us to our second win. Like, I've seen a bunch of like predictions like that, right? So, and that's a bunch of bold predictions that I've seen. I'm not making those bold predictions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying that's what I've seen. That's what I've seen over Twitter and some other, social media. All right. But there's a lot of burning questions going into this game though, man. Like, First off, like I think there's a burning question that's going around the Carolina Panthers organization is trading Bryce Young. Are we really going to do this? Are they going to trade Bryce Young? Like, let's not bullshit around. People are already talking about shipping off Bryce. I get it. He hasn't exactly set the world on fire. But are we really throwing in the towel on a guy after some rough starts and some shaky preseason? I don't know. Come on. I guess we'll see. Like Jack Plummer looked better than expected in preseason. But let's not act like the Panthers should hand over the keys to an undrafted rookie just because Bryce isn't lighting it up. Like, look, if the team comes in with a Godfather offer that you can't refuse, right? With like first round picks and some insane value, then sure, maybe you think about moving Young. But that's not happening right now. If the offers are for some shitty day 3 picks, I say you stick with the guy you mortgage your future off of, right? Is he struggling? Yes. But would you? There he is. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Zim, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? I'm so sorry, man.
Don't apologize. Listen,
crazy.
StreamYard
That has never happened to me before, bro. I'm so sorry about that.
Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Zim Huday from the Cincinnati podcast, also part of Roundtable Sports. So everyone, make sure you go over there. I brought his app up on the screen there. You can click it, takes you right to it. So obviously, let's give him a absolute shout out for coming on in tonight's live stream.
Oh, you guys got sound effects and stuff?
I got a little something over here. I got a little soundboard going on.
So you got your soundboard going? All right.
Yeah. I got a little something for you.
What's going on? Thursday night talking football?
I know, man. I know that you probably want to go and watch that Cowboys game, right? Maybe.
When you're 0-3, it's tough to even pay attention to anything other than the fact that, like, hey, look, like I don't know. We were watching all 22 stuff and on another app and just doing all this stuff. It's hard to focus for fantasy football purposes. 100% though. I got neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I appreciate you joining, man. Again, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're probably a busy man like myself. We've got families and everything, so but it's good that Roundtable Sports has like brought us like to people that you never would think to even collab with, or like would know, know. So it's good to like kind of get this going. But welcome to the Ropp Star Report.
Yes, sir.
But Zim, let's get right into it. We've been discussing in the background, and I kind of want to just start off with like kind of basically the Panthers versus Bengal defensive preview first. That's kind of how I want to break it down. Then we'll get into some offense. We'll get into our final predictions, and we'll call it a day.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. So obviously for us and for your former quarterback, Andy Dalton, this is probably a revenge game, so to speak. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's really any hard. It doesn't seem like Dalton obviously seems,
Well, let me give you a little backstory on Dalton.
Okay.
So, all right. So Dalton is a guy that is a big, he's a polarizing figure amongst Bengals fans in the sense of there were people like me before I got on Twitter. I made my following literally off of we got to move on from this guy.
Oh, okay.
Like I literally probably got tens of thousands of followers on the strength of I was going hard at nice guy, great person, awesome. I from the minute he came in the door to 2011 or whatever, playoffs, first year, like in a lockout and everything like that. So you get like the Bengals went to the playoffs 6 out of 7 years, like in that stretch, but he never won a playoff game. And so there's a lot of people that have a lot of loyalty to him. And then there's a lot of people like myself that don't have a problem with him. But I was a big advocate of we got to move on. We have played him a couple times since then. Right. I was in the New Orleans game. That was a really good game. He started off pretty good in that game. and then Burrow and Chase won it at the end. But
Hmm.
it is a history. And then at the very end, we were trying to tank. Like the organization was actively tanking. They shelved AJ Green, they shelved Joe Mixon. Dalton, the conspiracy theorists is people that thought that he still wanted to play for the Bengals. He was not trying to lose that game. I don't know if y'all seen that game where we were playing the Dolphins. And this was originally it was called the Tua Bowl, but then Tua messed his hip up.
Oh, yes. So now all right.
He comes back in this game. We're down like 21 points. Like we're easily about to lock in the number 1 pick. He comes back, sends it to overtime and everything like that. He still loses the game, but we were like, whoo. Then Burrow comes in, and around that time too, the first time that he got benched or whatever, he demanded a trade. So a lot of people don't know that. So he was mad.
Oh.
Yeah, Dalton was pissed. And then he got benched on his birthday. So don't let the nice guy stuff fool you.
Okay, so this is a revenge game. We'll just
Dalton
call
is ready to kill.
Let's call it what it is then. Let's call it what it is.
Dalton is ready to kill the Bengals. I assure you. He's a nice guy, but he does not care.
All right, so there's no bullshit here. All right. So basically, okay. So I'm going to say this. Like, I think that this is a game for us. Obviously, we're coming off some momentum here. We got it. Your guys are you're desperate. You're a team that's hungry, pissed off, and desperate for a win right now, right? Because right now in the AFC North, you got Steelers winning games. You got the Ravens 1-2, who could turn things around, right? I just have a feeling you guys are just going to come out swinging. And I think defensively, can the Carolina Panthers hang? Can they? Because I feel like with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, even Zach Moss, I think things could get ugly really fast. Because here's the thing that I want to allude to first is that our secondary, okay, yeah, J.C. Horn looks like a top 5 corner right now. I think he's actually based off a PFF grade I saw recently. I think he is top 5 if I'm not mistaken. So he's up there. So Mike Jack looks good though. Again, I mean, he also looked good. But let's be real here for a second. Nobody wants to throw a JC Horn, and it's obviously when he's on the field, he's a beast. He's especially when he's not injured, right? Obviously, big, fast. Because as long as he stays on the field, we're good. But right now, this team doesn't even bother testing him, and he's measly been only targeted 8 times this all season, which ranks him 70 something in the league right now. But the problem I have right now against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is Mike Jackson, because he could get roasted. There is times where I've seen Mike Jack lock dudes down, and he did a couple times last week, but I've also seen him get burned, right? He's been targeted 27 times compared to 8 to JC Horn, right? So he's tied for the first in the league for targets. So if you let that sink in for a little bit, last week against the Raiders, it wasn't pretty. So here is some bright spots, though. Let's be honest, he's not exactly instilling confidence in me, but there is, like I said, there has been some bright spots. But when you're going up against guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, 2 guys who could easily be wide receiver 1s on any team in the NFL, I honestly think, and maybe T. Higgins, you could probably make a case on other teams, but do you think Jackson's ready for that? I don't know. I think the Bengals are going to exploit this matchup all game long. It depends on how Evero, our defensive coordinator, adjusts the scheme to help Jackson differentiate between the two survive or getting absolute torched. I mean, what do you see from an offensive standpoint that you guys could exploit here?
I think this team, let me just start off and say I had high hopes for the Bengals. Of course, we've had a lot of, success lately, outside of even Burrow getting hurt last year. Like when he was on. He looked really good. Mm-hmm. This year, I'm not as confident to say this is a matchup that I like, because every single week is something. We'll talk about the defensive end. I mean, the defensive spot. I'm guessing next probably or whatever. But week 1, I mean, Brissett threw for 110 yards. Week 2, they gave Mahomes the worst game he ever had as an NFL quarterback ever. 150 yards, two picks. He had a third pick. They overturned it. So you're thinking, oh, well, the pass defense is pretty good. Then we go into the Commanders game, and then the pass defense is awful. And I say that to bring it back to the Jamar Chase and our offense and everything like that is too. It's like it's so unpredictable, like from week to week, you really don't know. I will say this though. The last time that Jamar Chase saw a team that played him like single coverage was probably like 2021. Like so I hear you on the Mike Jackson one or whatever, but if Burrow sees JC Horn out there one-on-one with him, he's taking it. The number one thing that he does, he doesn't have to be top 10 on any list. You might say, I don't think that highly of him. Somebody listen to it right now. His number one superpower, I actually had a conversation with Marlon Humphrey with this. His number one superpower is he just finds the singled up coverage or he finds the open man. He has like eyes in the back of his head. He finds that matchup. If there's a one-on-one out there, he's going to take it. And some weeks it might be Jamar, some weeks it might be T. They don't really, contrary to people's like belief, they haven't really played that many games together. In 2022, Jamar Chase was hurt for 6 weeks. T. Higgins had to take a look, but then they always get back together when it comes to like playoff time. So if you really like break down the numbers, there's a bunch of games T. Higgins started, but he didn't finish, whatever. But when they're together, there are some games that like, even when we played you guys like in 2022, I know Mixon went nuclear in that game, I think. Yeah, that game. Yeah,
he did.
So, but in that game, it might be like that. It's just whatever matchup is available to him. In the running backs, our tight ends and stuff are night and day, so much better than what that's the messed up part about us being 0-3. Is that I feel like they're super versatile. It's not just Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's now the tight ends of Mike Gesicki and his rookie named Eric All. He's a really good blocker and he gets open. He had a couple catches last week. If you're a betting man, I see Bet US right here. There is some good action on this guy, Eric All. He is now getting a lot of burn. I caught him last week on one reception. Like he's getting one reception. I'm telling you that right now. Like he's about to be our tight end one. And then the running backs, they're really good. Chase Brown is a guy that is average. Last week he averaged 8 yards a carry. So they're more versatile. But the problem is you just don't know what you're going to get from them from week to week. So it's hard for me to say like this is a matchup or whatever. But I will say this. I am confident that Burrow will find an open man. It might not be Jamar Chase. Like if I don't know what you would do. But if it is JC Horn one-on-one with him, Burrow's not shying away from that. Like you could go look at any of them games. You want some targets towards JC Horn, he's going to give it to you.
Yeah, well, the issue is in our secondary, we lose Jordan Fuller, who's on IR. And, that's the guy that kind of has been like the safety that kind of has been able to help JC or on the back end. Now, Nick Scott's going to step in, which you're familiar with Nick Scott. So,
We don't like Nick Scott with us. They benched him by like week 4 or 5. They couldn't stand him at one point. We had to play some games with him. Like coming from the Rams, I liked him. In our scheme, he's a big he's going to give you some big hits. But he plays.
Yeah, but do you remember who he was playing for? That was at the Rams, though. Do you remember who was coaching him?
Who, McVay? Or you're talking on the defensive side?
Yeah, that was Evero.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe Evero can work. That's the thing. Like, can Evero work something out there for Nick Scott to help out JC if it does become, and which I think that's going to be the matchup because JC was all over Devontae Adams last week and just shut him down. Absolutely shut him down. So do I expect Jamar Chase is a different animal than Devontae Adams? Okay. In my opinion. Okay. All right. So let's get that clear. Plus Devontae Adams is older. Okay.
Right.
So let's get that clear.
Devontae is one of them guys too, though. I'm not
for sure. No, yeah. I mean top 5 for sure. Right.
Yeah.
I just think Jamar Chase is just on a different level right now. Right. You could even make the case that Jamar Chase is better than Tyreek Hill, but that's, some people may see it that way.
I make that case a lot.
I bet you do. I bet you defend your team very well. I see that. But that's the thing. Like the secondary is going to be an issue for me. Obviously, losing Jordan Fuller, who's an absolute monster. Actually, the first game didn't look too good, but the past 2 games he's looking better. So that's the thing. But again, at the end of the day, y'all also are dealing with some injuries, and so especially isn't Orlando Brown is going to be out, or is he playing? He's in.
Orlando Brown is good to go.
Okay. All right. So I thought there was some injury reports on him. What's the
Orlando
status?
Brown is probably playing the best ball I've ever. This is the best ball of his career. Our tackles. Yeah. So Trent Brown was our starting right tackle.
Trent Brown.
He tore his ACL last week, but and prayers to him. Shout out to him, but Mims is the guy that we all wanted. Mims was going to be the starter anyway, but Mims had tweaked his pec. So then Trent Brown came in, but Trent Brown was playing really well. So they're like, yeah, just keep him in. And then we would bring Mims in like a jumbo package for like 1 week or whatever. But Trent Brown tears his ACL, but Mims is who we wanted to start anyway, though. So
okay. All right. So the offensive line has been, obviously against the Commanders, it didn't look too hot.
I thought the offensive line was good.
You thought so? Okay.
Burrow got sacked, I think, once or twice. This is the best offensive line that Burrow's ever had. Like this, like not even close. Like, so does that mean that you can't get to him? Sure, you can, but the defensive line is where the injuries are.
Okay. That's probably that's what I wasn't reading into. And that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out is like, this is the thing. Like, I think Carolina offensively, if they can repeat last week what they did, it's going to be a competitive game. I still think it's going to be competitive, but I think that for us, it comes down to our safety situation's a mess, right? When you lose a guy like Jordan Fuller, you got Sam Franklin out, who's a captain. And then you're leaning on Nick Scott, who's already had a hurt quad injury, right? And then he's coming in. He didn't practice fully this week. And then this leaves us with a bunch of guys who might not even crack the roster because you're bringing in practice squad guys, but I've seen crazier shit happen. But, and then you got a pass rush that really in the first 2 weeks was non-existent. And now you get, last week against a Raiders team who's a mess, in my opinion, who are making business decisions.
They're not a bigger mess than us. I
don't know, but
they are a little.
Yeah. But they don't have a Joe Burrow either. So
I was gonna say, all right. So I'm not a big injury guy because I feel like people just like use it against me later on. But I will say this: if you are a Panthers fan, the matchup that you will want to exploit is the Bengals defensive line is down 6 guys. So they had Cam Sample tear his ACL before it all started. Their first round pick from last year, Miles Murphy, he's out until the following week 5. You got the defensive tackle, McKinley Jackson, who we drafted. He hasn't played any. He's hurt. They got BJ Hill. He's hurt. Our number 1 free agent acquisition is Sheldon Rankin. He's hurt. We don't have anybody up front. So in the Commanders game, it was a shootout because Burrow is playing at a top-notch level, and they are protecting him. We didn't even punt, and we lost the game. But on the defensive side of the ball, there is no pass rush. There is one guy. His name is Trey Hendrickson. He's leading the National Football League in pass rush win rate. I like him against bigger, taller guys. I don't know. Is Moton on the right or who's on the left?
On the right.
Who's on the left?
Ike Ekwonu.
See, right now he's the most double team guy in the National Football League, but he has a really good pass rush win rate, and he's doing really good, but he's by himself. They literally have nobody else that can get anybody pressure. Sam Hubbard, he is playing, but he too got reconstructive surgery on his ankle. So he's last in the National Football League in pass rush win rate. So what happened to us on the Commanders is Jaden Daniels is running around doing whatever he wants, never had a pressure at all. They're double, triple teaming Trey Hendrickson. I imagine you guys will chip and help out Icky. But at the same time, he did play like this perfect game. Even if it was like 7-on-7s, you know how hard it is to throw like 93% of your passes? Like Joe Burrow threw 80%, 330 yards, and had 2 touchdowns.
They had 3 or 2.
3 touchdowns or something.
Yeah.
And it's like an afterthought because Jaden Daniels played like this perfect game. Yeah. I think that Dalton gets the ball out so fast. And if you're not getting a pass rush,
pass rush.
I could see another, thing like that. And then also with your run game, you can exploit the defensive line. We knew coming into the season, the defensive line was probably going to be a weak spot, but the injuries to the front is beyond me. Like, I've never seen anything like that. It's really bad. And I think that that's one of the stories. Like, it's weird because in the Chiefs game, they ran the ball pretty well, but we were like, who cares? Like, we don't want Pat Mahomes to throw. And when he threw, the coverage was good. But last week was the exact opposite. No pressure, guy running around. So to me, it sets up to be another, like, if Dalton had a game like that last week, he could easily have a game like that this week. Not because I don't believe in the corners, but he won't see that much pressure. They get no pressure.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I was kind of trying to talk about the offense, is obviously neutralizing y'all's weak pass rush, because like you said, you've got a guy right there in 3 games who's had 5 sacks in Trey Hendrickson. So you've got the thing is I think you also have a second leading sacker on a team that's a cornerback, if I'm not mistaken. So
I don't know who that is.
yeah, but but you got, the rest of your D line has, like you said,
they're banged up, man.
Yeah,
I like our linebackers are really good. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, they're real good. Logan Wilson, since he's came into the league, he's like first in all interceptions for linebackers. Taylor-Britt, you talked about the rating or whatever from the cornerback position.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna probably, I think that they should put him one-on-one with Xavier Legette and just try to cancel that out and then leave another safety for run support and take our chances with Legette if Thielen's not playing, right? So
yeah, Thielen's going to be out for 4 weeks at least.
So Legette and him is the matchup. He does really well with bigger wide receivers, so that matchup is going to be a really good matchup. On the other end, you got Dax Hill.
True.
I don't like him one-on-one with Deontay Johnson, but that's the side that I think that they will give him help. Dax Hill is a first-round pick as well, so it's not like he's like some random dude. It's just I just value Deontay Johnson's route running a lot. For Dax Hill, this is his first year playing corner. Right. So it's a lot. Coming into this game, currently right now, the Bengals have the 8th best pass defense in the National Football League. But I will say that was part of it is Brissett, and then we did play Mahomes, so whatever. But I think Mahomes holds the ball a little longer. If Dalton can get the ball out pretty quick, I think he can exploit it. So
yeah, I just think, like, from a defensive standpoint, and I'll get back to the offense, because I'm just the reason why I'm talking about the defense so much right now is just because, again, that has been an issue. But again, also in the Raiders game, our offense was staying on the field, and the time of possession was also in our corner. So it's like, when that happens, your defense is going to play better. But when you've first 2 games, your offense can't drive down the field more than a minute or 2, you're not going to win a lot of football games, and you're going 3 and out, constantly punting it and giving it back to, hoping your defense goes out there and makes a stop every 2 minutes. It just doesn't work. So to me, that's why I was talking about the pass rush for us, is that we've got to get to Joe Burrow. Like that's the first thing one thing we have to do. And I'll talk about exploring more on the offense, but really that's the biggest thing, because the pass rush has been straight up garbage for us this season, because it got ripped apart by the Saints. Chargers ran all over them the first 2 weeks. And then last week, it was a rare stroke of luck facing the Raiders. So the league's absolutely worst rushing offense. I mean, they barely average 51 yards a game, but the Panthers have got to flex a bit. And let's not pretend that they've just turned this corner, right? And I think that's a lot of the people need to realize, is that the Carolina Panthers just won 1 game. Like we're yes, it was a great win. It was a great win for the organization. It was a great win for the locker room. The morale's a lot better, but you can't just expect to go into another game and do the same thing all over again. But you want to keep that momentum going for sure. So you got to prove that last week was not a fluke. So I need to see that pass rush get to Burrow, because when you got a Bengals ranked 28th in rushing and average just under 90 yards, they need to focus still on getting to Burrow and getting to him and all those elite pass catchers you got. Because the Panthers defense has always struggled against offenses that run well. And they did that last when you were talking about that, when y'all were ran all over us and you obliterated us. I think that score was 42-21, and I think y'all were up 35-0 at halftime the last time we played y'all. So
I was there.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm a big Joe Mixon fan too, so that's like one that I always like. Our fan base is weird; they want to get rid of him and all this other stuff. So I always use that game as like a reference. Like, see, like like Joe Mixon just don't grow on trees. They didn't care; they got rid of him. So
yeah, well, you got Von Bell from us, that's an interesting story right there. So
I did not think that he would start for us. Like, we have another guy in Jordan Battle that played really damn good last year from Alabama.
Yep,
and they don't even give him snaps. They gave him all to Von Bell, and I'm just like, I like our defensive coordinator, and I'm thinking that they're going to give us like 3 safety looks and all this different stuff like that. I'm amazed at how much they're playing Von Bell. I think he's playing okay. He's not flashing or anything like that. So I don't know.
The only thing is with Von Bell that I liked about him is he's a leader. He's vocal. He's very great communicator. He tries to line everybody up on the defense where they need to be when he noticed things like that. So that when he was here, I like that about him. It just
first man in the building.
Yeah, it just didn't work out, obviously here, and we were just trying to. I think it was more of a cap thing, honestly, for us.
You know that because of the money that y'all had on this contract guarantee, you all paid pretty much what, you know what I mean? Like, we're not even really paying them.
We did that a lot with a lot of guys. We've got a bunch of, we've got probably one of the most dead caps in the NFL right now. And we're eating it all this year so that when we go into next year, we'll have top 10 cap space.
Right. And for us, we are the lowest. Like, I think the Seahawks might be lower than us. I look. We're just saying our owner is like, he's not playing that. Like, that's the thing that I don't like though. It's like guys like Sam Hubbard that are currently playing on our roster at defensive end, who is just a shell of himself, or like how I'm saying Von Bell, they just go with whoever's getting paid more. That's who gets the snaps instead of just playing the best guys. Or like, this is a 17-game season. Let these guys rotate. Like, give other people, get a young gun some, and they don't do that enough. And it's unfortunate. I wanted to talk about the run game portion too. Sure. Our head coach hates running the football. He's an idiot. He does not like running football. But the one thing that I was talking about I was talking about how versatile they were. In week 1, they were stupid. They didn't run the ball. Week 2, they ran the ball a little bit more. Last week, they ran the ball really good. The Bengals currently, I know that they don't run for a shit ton of yards, but they are like second in EPA. They're big on efficiency. Okay. So what we're saying is like, what's his name? Chase Brown, he ran for like almost 8 yards a carry. I think that they're going to probably try to run maybe more than normal. They run a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends now. And that's what I was talking about. Like, sometimes it's Chase, sometimes it's T, but they have been running the ball very well. So if they can exploit that, they will continue to run the ball. It's just that it's not that they don't do it well. It's just that the coach doesn't believe, like, the whole offense is centered around Joe Burrow throwing the football. So sometimes
I'll tell you this, San Diego and the Saints did a hell of a job in that category. So, if you can do that, you can.
They're going to run.
Yeah.
They're going to run. The tight end I was telling you about, his name is Eric All. They use him as like a primary blocker. They have another tight end. His name is Sample. They just come in to block, chip, leak out, and catch passes out in the flat. Gesicki, they use him like a wide receiver. But they do run the ball. And a lot of times we play teams, and this happens a lot. They be like, bro, y'all were running the ball so damn good. Why did y'all stop? So don't be surprised if you see like some big runs from them. But the Bengals, their head coach does not believe in running the ball, in my mind, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think that's one weakness y'all could exploit right there for sure. Obviously, the corners and secondaries, like I was talking about too, could be. It's going to be an interesting matchup in that corner room. I think again for us, like, let's talk about us trying to, like you were saying, if you were the Carolina Panthers and you mentioned this, we need to run the damn ball basically. And I do agree with that. I think that the plan is simple here for us, is that we need to shut down Hendrickson like we did with Max Crosby last week. And hopefully we can have a shot of repeating that. And if they do that, then, and of course the run game is going to help, but I think that's going to give Dalton plenty of time to open up this pass. Now, you were talking about Xavier Legette. Now, that's something I was actually hoping to see in this game, because this could be a chance for Xavier Legette to show what he was in South Carolina. And you got Thielen on IR. It's time for those, but you also got to think about Jonathan Mingo and Xavier Legette stepping up, because you got both of them coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, Mingo has had some cringeworthy touches this season. I've been taking a really close eyes and on Legette, hoping to see if he'll break out. He had some serious pop last week, especially with a 35 catch run against the Raiders. Yep. So if we could have more of that, that'd be fantastic. Let's see him actually become that number 2 guy we need, because someone's got to fill that void for Thielen.
See, for me, I don't know if they'll do this. This is generally what they do. Taylor-Britt isn't a household name. There might be somebody that's seen this, but he had the one-handed Odell looking catch on the Kansas City interception. Mm-hmm. That's our CB1. Right. I've seen him lock down DK Metcalf. I've seen him lock down a lot of wide receivers. They generally will put him on a bigger receiver. I don't know if they feel comfortable putting him on Deontay Johnson. I'm not sure. He'll check a Deontay Johnson, but for me, from a strategy standpoint, I would just eliminate, from the Bengals standpoint, I would put my best cornerback on Legette and say, Deontay Johnson better beat double teams the whole game. And if Mingo, whatever, like our outfielders, like we have Geno Stone, we have Battle, who I talked about, and we also have Von Bell. So on the back end, you're like, well, if he beats me deep or something like that, then we have safety help that will deal with that. How we do it. But from a strategy standpoint, I will put Dax Hill on Deontay Johnson. He's not small. He's like 6 feet, 6'1", 200 something pounds or whatever. He's not a small corner, but he's smaller than CTB. CTB, Taylor-Britt, when y'all watch this game or y'all go look up his highlight, he is known to be physical. When we played the Bills in the playoffs and stuff, he was punching Stephon Diggs on the ground. When we played DK Metcalf had a whole out-of-body experience where he just was trying to fight him the whole game. And it was the match, like everybody was like highlighting it because it was crazy. I think because Legette is bigger in stature and he's more physical, I think that that's what I would do. I would put him on that. I'm very interested to see that, because I do think that that's a matchup that for both fan bases, it will tell you a lot. I need Taylor-Britt to eliminate a rookie. And then from your standpoint, you're like, I need to see something. Adam Thielen is not here.
Right.
If Legette is going to be who I think he's going to be, he needs to do it up against their CB1.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Kate. Xavier Legette said it best, and I'm hoping that we see some of that is that on those 50-50 catches, he came out and said, and there was in an interview, he was just like, I see that ball and it's in the air. There's only one person that's getting it. So I'm hoping that that's what the case is that's going to be.
It's going to be a good matchup. That's a good matchup. I want to see that bad.
Now the question is can Cameron Britt keep up with Legette's speed, because Legette's a 4.3.
Everybody on the secondary, with the exception of Von Bell's, running a 4.3. So Dax Hill and Cam Taylor-Britt he was a quarterback, converted to cornerback, and then he went to Nebraska. Vertical, I mean, most athletic corner I've probably ever seen. He's a playmaker. He doesn't play sticky covers though. He's a playmaker. So like he'll play a lot of off-ball stuff sometimes, but generally he gets to you at the line of scrimmage and he talks. And he likes to hit. So like he's a really good tackling corner as well too, and he's big. He's like big for a corner. He catches like a wide receiver. So like a lot of quarterbacks don't test him, and that's what I'm like. But a lot of times you'll have a step on him, like the Worthy interception on the sideline in the Chiefs game that everybody's talking about. He had a brief little step on him, and Worthy's what the fastest guy in the NFL. They're saying like 4.2, and he ran with him. So I like that matchup. I think I like Legette as a prospect, so I'm very interested just from a fan. I'm nervous as hell about the game. Like
Me too.
I was gonna ask you this though: is there a part of the fan base, given what's going on with Bryce, is there a part of the fan base? Because I reached this point too, and it's funny. You have Dalton,
right?
Is there people that just say, I don't even want to win. I just want to get like the better draft pick, and then we come back to this like later on?
Yeah, I think again, this is the thing about NFL, man. This sometimes I can't stand it. It's like you have a fan base and it's like groups. The fan base is groups. There's groups. Okay. So you got the one group that just wants to win, right? Then you got that middle
Yep,
group
that's
that is
me.
just like, I have no idea. I don't know. I think that we should do this, but then they flip flop. Then they're like, no, we should do this. And then it's like, then it's that one fan base. It's just like, play Bryce and let's just shit the bed, you know? So
Right.
it's like, I think right now in Carolina, I think people just want to win. I think that that's what this organization needs. I think that everybody in this chat and everybody 187
Yeah.
people that are if and I'm sure there's some Cincinnati Bengals watching, but
Shout out to you guys.
out but out of all the Carolina Panthers that are watching right now, I feel like most of this fan base really wants to
Wants to
win
win.
because when we won last week, it was like a weight fell off of our fan base shoulders.
Right.
And at least for me, because I was just like, finally, I don't have to go wake up Monday morning just feeling depressed once again. You know?
It's rough as a content creator. I want y'all to make sure y'all show my guy Clay some love because people do not understand. People DM you stuff, not even on there. They're adding you on Twitter and everything like that because they understand that we eat, sleep, and breathe football. You do that for the Panthers, I do that for the Bengals, and they don't really think about the other 100 or so people that are giving you shit all day, and that's what happens to me.
Right.
And so, I stay with my same morals, like how you were saying, like I always wanted to win. But there was that one season. I had that one season with Dalton, and I said, man, because I will tell you, in my mind, and I was talking to my guy, TJ Hushmanzada. He's a good friend of mine, former Bengal.
Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
the realest dude you'll ever meet. He has this idea that you all should trade Bryce to the Dolphins.
I think a lot of people have had that idea.
He was one of the first people I heard say that. And see, I was at a point when we had Dalton at that last year before we got Burrow, and I was trying to move everybody. I think we had like Gino, Carlos Dunlap, and people like that. I was like, I'm trying to move it all and just get all of that, and then come back with the quarterback, and then like come up and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that goes involved with that. Like and I was kind of alluding to that earlier when I was kind of chatting while you were, obviously you were fixing your mic. Here's the way I look at it. Trading Bryce, I think it's like this. Are we really going to throw on a towel on a guy who's had some rough starts, shaky preseason? We got Jack Plummer on the back end who looked better inspected in the preseason, but we cannot act like the Panthers should just hand over the keys to an undrafted rookie just because Bryce isn't lighting it up, right? So I think it comes to this. If a team came in with a Godfather offer, one that you just cannot refuse with first round picks and some insane value, sure. Maybe you think about moving on from Bryce.
Nobody's doing that for him, though.
Right. But that's not going to happen right now because I think the offers for some shitty day 3 picks, I think you can't stick with a guy. You can't stick the guy. You got to stick with the guy you mortgage your future off of because is he struggling?
Oh no, man.
I know it's tough for me because as much and I'm not even a Bryce. Here's the thing that I also got to mention to you, and I don't know if anybody in Cincinnati is like this in the fan base wise. We've got too many people in this fan base that are player lovers than a team as a whole.
Yeah. See, I'm in a weird spot. I'm very, very cool with a lot of players, and I'm very, very cool with a lot of their families and stuff like that. So I am like players first, but I always let all of them know, like just me personally, I let everybody know I'm Bengals first. So like if there's a contract that somebody doesn't like or something like that, I'm like, oh well, like I need the Bengals to win. Because when the Bengals win, everything in my life, everybody around me, we all eat. Like, so I have my own. I'm just being very real when I say that. Like, I need the Bengals to win. That has nothing. And then what I do is I separate the money side of that stuff. I don't even really talk. I talk about like cap and all that stuff. And I talk about a lot of different things, but I don't get into this person should get X amount of money, and this person,
Right. Yeah.
like that's not even my business. Like all I am concerned with is this person getting fair market value if I do want to get into that realm, and then aside from that, how does that relate into the Bengals winning? And the Bryce conversation is interesting to me because take it from a guy like me, I went through this phase. This is the other segment of the fan base that you didn't talk about.
Okay.
You have a big segment of the fan base that believes that they can win, but there's another big segment of the fan base that believes that they can win, but they only want to win a Super Bowl. So the person that's just there, like, I didn't even tell you this. I went to North Carolina State. I was in Raleigh. I'm a Carolina. I was in Carolinas. My mom's still there. She's a Carolina Panthers fan. I'm actually going to go see her this weekend.
There you go.
There's a segment of people that are just here to, they're here to have fun, cheer for their team and like that. But there's other people that are very absolute that say, I don't care if I don't have a Super Bowl caliber roster. And to me watching Dalton go to the playoffs all those years is one of the greatest lessons I learned in my life. I went for it for a long time where I was like, yeah, we could do this. And I always tried to construct like the perfect roster. Then I gave him the perfect roster in 2015. And that's the game that everybody knows where the Bengals imploded in the playoffs with Burfict and Patman. Perfect roster. My mom could have thrown for that team and we would have won 9 games. You could go up and down that roster. Like if they weren't the Bengals and they had like another uniform, you would have said it's one of the greatest teams ever constructed. It's a really good team. That's the part that get lost in that. But when he didn't win or he got hurt before that game and he didn't win and all that, I started to look back and say, can I really, like, what am I really doing? Am I just cheering because I'm happy because of that, or do I actually have Super Bowl aspirations? And then when I got this guy named Joe Burrow, it just changed. I didn't win the Super Bowl, but me being at the Super Bowl, me going back-to-back AFC Championship games, it totally. If you don't got one of them guys, and I don't think Bryce is one of those guys like that guy.
Me neither.
It's a weird spot to be in as a fan because, like for me, I was the guy that I didn't have to have a Super Bowl. I wanted, let's get some success, let's have fun. Right. Then when the Burrow showed me like, nah, you got to win a bowl. Because now all they tell me all day, I can tell you about, man, we won the division. They be like, shut up, you ain't got no Super Bowl. Every time, every conversation I get into. Yeah. So now everything in my life is all about getting the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting.
Yeah, I think for me, like, and I guess I will. And here's the thing. There was an interesting one that Chase Daniels. I don't know if you saw that trade that he came up with on the Fox, the show that he's on.
I didn't see it.
He came up with this 3-way trade between the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Panthers. Basically, the Rams got Bryce. Stafford went to Miami. We got a 2nd-round pick from the Rams. And then we got a 3rd-round pick from the Dolphins, right? And so it was some crazy astronomical trade that would probably never happen in the NFL. I don't even know if I've ever seen a 3-way trade in the NFL. that I can remember of. You know what I mean? So like this ain't the NBA. Like
right.
You don't see that. So, but yeah, with the Bryce situation, man, it's tough. It's tough. It's very tough because you gave up so much value. It's so much. I could go through the full list. And then it gives me PTSD.
I don't even. Hey, look, this is how you know I'm a good guy. I'm not even gonna bring up who you could have had, or like you see, I talked about the Commanders a little bit, and I talked about like I'm not going to talk to you about Stroud or any of those guys. It is what it is.
Well, give me your final words, man. I know you got to go. I know you got to head out, which is all good. Give me your final words. Give me your final predictions. Give me your thoughts.
I got the Bengals winning this in a desperation. I'm a big homer, I guess, with my pick. I am scared to death of this game. I never thought I would be scared of this game until I was now 0-3. Our season is on the line. Jamar Chase talked about it today about like we 1,000% have to win this game, of course, because now the Bengals are looking at like for where we're trying to do, they got to go like 11-3, which isn't crazy to me, but they've done it before in 2022. They won 10 straight, but it's tough, bro. So they got to win this game. I think it's a close game. I think Dalton, they got to get to him. We had stops in the Commanders game. Them dudes went for it on 4th down though, like 4 times, and they got it every time. So like, I'm hoping y'all don't go for it on 4th down because these idiots went for it. Like y'all didn't go for it. I looked at your box score. I was like, did they go for it on 4th down? Like they got every 4th down. I was so pissed. And
Right.
Get Dalton off the field. 3rd down, like the 3rd down stuff is going to be very key. I think that Burrow is playing really, really well. And I think his offensive line is the best offensive line he's ever had in his whole entire tenure. So I'm hoping that the defense finally shows up. We're just trying to weather the storm. But I really appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, man.
It was really good talking ball.
Yeah, man. I will definitely hit you up again. Obviously, if we obviously connect, but if you ever want to talk ball, let me know. But shout out to everybody, give a shout out to Zim of the Cincinnati podcast. Make sure y'all go check them out. Make sure you like and subscribe. Zim, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, and if y'all just want to see like some Bengals news or whatever going into this game, my name is Zim Hude, Zim Hude, all together, one word, on Twitter, Instagram. I update like all the time. So I understand you guys are Panthers fans, but if you want to get some like info right before the game, whatever, come check me out.
Nice. I appreciate you. Everybody give them a round of applause. Appreciate that, Zim. Have a good night, brother. That was Zim, man. Appreciate him. I tell you what, that was great talking ball with him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to break it down for you. Look, I could break down the Bengals defense all day. There's really not much to, we could talk about their offense too. All right. Which we already did, but they're not god awful at anything, really. Okay. And they're sure as hell aren't good at anything either. So I think that the Bengals right now are in that just their phase. I think they've got a bunch of talent, but they also are dealing with a lot of injuries. I don't think that this is going to be a easy game by no means, right? So this game isn't so much about what the Bengals can do or can't do. It's about really for us keeping the momentum from last week's offensive showing and making sure we just don't face plant against the team they should be able to score against. Like if Dalton, Hubbard, and the crew can play like they did against the Raiders, there's no reason why they can't put up another solid showing there. Now, Dalton is 2-1 against his former team. The Bengals defense isn't going to offer much more resistance than we saw last week. Keep the vibes high, keep the foot on the gas. Let's rack up some points. Final thoughts, though, I want to say this is that the Bengals are desperate and we've got mojo. Okay. Let's make no mistake about it. Like the Bengals are a cornered animal right now. They need a win. That's a dangerous opponent. But here's the thing. The Panthers have better mojo going into this game. Dalton looking for his revenge. The offense is showing signs of life. I think this Bengals defense isn't exactly a wall of steel. I think a win isn't guaranteed by any means, but this Panthers offense has every chance to make some noise and have a big day. And if they don't, well, that's the whole other conversation. But it's just like I said on the NFC South, man. I just don't this defense and the matchups that they bring against us with, all right, with Jamar Chase, with T. Higgins, right? And if they can run the ball against us, that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. So I think eventually I think the Bengals will emerge from their funk and win a game. Carolina may not be up for this contest because, like it was for the Raiders with Dalton taking over this offense, I still see this entire squad looking good. But while the Bengals are still trying to figure out what they're doing this season, I expect the Panthers to attack the right tackle, Marius Mims, right, who will be, taking his first career start against Trent Brown, who suffered that season-ending injury that Zim was talking about. So I think this game's going to be close, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see us going out there and embarrassing ourselves. I think it's going to be close, but I got to give the edge with the firepower on that offense to the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. I'm going to take the Bengals 31-24. I'm just being real. I just think that, again, They proved me wrong this week. Fine. They proved me wrong. Okay. They proved me wrong. Okay. And I'll eat my crow on that. Okay. I just have to consider now. If they win this game, then I might start picking them to win some more games. But right now, when you've got a team like this, like I said, that's desperate, even though we got that mojo, this is a team that needs to win. That is a dangerous opponent right now. And Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, that offense, that scares me, especially with this secondary and this defense, and our defense. And again, if they can run the ball, this is going to be a long day for the Panthers. But I do think that with Dalton, our offense can stay on the field longer. We can control that clock, time of possession, get Chuba Hubbard the ball, let them run that ball like they did last week. Right. If they can do all that, again, what they did against the Raiders, and they just replicate that, what they did, then they can win this game too. This game is such a toss up. It's not even funny. It's so hard for me to pick, really. I'm going with the Bengals just because of that firepower in the offense, but I wouldn't be surprised as like I see other people in the chat that have said Panthers will win this game, right? And you have every right to feel that way after last week. But again, it's a coin toss, man. It's an absolute coin toss. So, but I'm going to take the Bengals, ladies and gentlemen. Again, everyone, I appreciate everyone in the chat. I appreciate 220 of you in here. 220 of you. We've got over 220 people watching. We got 16 on YouTube, 203 of you on Twitter. 203 of you that are on Twitter, do me a favor. Come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. If talking ball and talking Carolina Panthers or NFL in general, if that's your bugaboo, well, this is the channel for you. So come on over to the YouTube channel. That's the best way you can show me support, by coming over to my YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's all I ask. Now, I don't need your money. I just want to see you in the comment section. That's all I want. So make sure y'all come over, like and subscribe, and continue to tune in. Let's get to the chat real quick, and then we'll close it out here. Our O-line will dominate their D-line. Yeah, and listen, Kenneth, I don't think here's the thing. I'm not worried about the offense, Kenneth. That's one thing I'm not worried about, ladies and gentlemen, is the Carolina Panthers offense. I think the offenses can compete against their defense, and I think they can control the clock and time of possession. It's that defense. This could end up being like a shootout, like against like how the Commanders and the Bengals game last week. This could be a offensive shootout, right? It's going to be the battle of the offenses, right? And who controls the clock. I think Carolina, if they're smart, they try to keep the Bengals offense off the field as long as possible and keep their defense on there. So run the damn ball. Run the damn ball. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, move them in and out. Run the damn ball for me. Right? Panthers 100, Bengals 0. Again, it's going to be an offensive shootout, man, but I'm taking the Bengals. I'm just being real. I'm just being a real fan here, man. I'm being realistic with you guys. It's going to be interesting, right? Deontay Johnson has a groin injury, so XL Mingo are going to have to step up. Yeah. I don't know if Deontay Johnson, what the status is. He didn't practice. Well, here's the thing, Brad Holt. He didn't practice today, but he's practicing tomorrow. They did confirm that. He is practicing tomorrow. Joe Burrow, 50 interceptions. Good Lord. 2 growls, 1 roar. Coming in hot with them hot takes, my guy. Coming in hot with them hot takes. I'm just messing. Bengals are definitely the favorite. Yeah, they definitely are, man. Here's the thing. The win last week was needed. And, it was needed for this fan base. I think this fan base is just tired of losing. They just want to win. But at the same time, we also got to think about our future. I don't think they're going to get a quarterback this year in the draft. And that's another thing that we need. This is another discussion for another day. But, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. If you're watching on the other platforms besides YouTube, which is Twitch and Twitter that I'm streaming on right now, do me a favor. Come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm live basically every single day talk about Carolina Panthers and NFL. So appreciate you guys. I got to go and do my NFL week 4 picks and predictions. So appreciate you guys. All right. So appreciate everyone. Do me a favor. Remember, love you guys. But 3 things: have fun, be safe. As always, keep pounding. Peace.